Hey everybody, this is Peter with Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to be taking a look at another role-playing game from Free League Publishing, and that game is The Walking Dead Universe. Now, you might say, wait a second, Pete, you did a video on this, and that is true. I did a video a while back focusing on the using the PDF version that Free League sent us, and I did a deep dive, about 20 or so minutes, into the core mechanics of the game and how it's played, the style of game that it is. And if that's what you're interested in, you could go ahead and check out our history of videos. You could find that one and watch that one where I talk about all of the details of the game itself. Today's video is going to focus mostly on what I think about the physical product that Free League has put out now that I have that in hand. But real quick, I will go ahead and say this is a D6 system, so you're going to be rolling six-sided dice. It has a little bit of the stress mechanic that you find in their Alien, the role-playing game, which makes sense because it's another game in the horror genre. And so as you are coming up against all of these horrific things, your characters are going to be faced with the stress of the situation they find themselves in. And so you have this possibility of your character mentally breaking under the stress of their situations. You find that, again, like I said, in the Alien role-playing game, you find that here. The thing that I was really excited about that they did add into this game is your haven, your stronghold, the place that you are calling home. And so they give you a stat block for your haven depending on different abilities, its level of strength, its whatever you've done to protect it against the zombie hordes. And as the hordes of zombies grow and get larger and eventually attack your haven, it will take damage. It will start to fall apart. You can do your best to try to build it up again if you want to, but there's a great chance that eventually your haven will fall to the stresses and the strains of being attacked multiple times by these hordes of zombies, and you might then have to move on. And again, that is very apropos of the show, the graphic novel, all of that, where they're constantly having to move to find, hopefully, a more safe, better location for their group. And you're going to be doing the same thing as you play this game, especially if you end up playing it in the campaign mode. So I was glad that they added that. I really enjoyed that idea of trying to strengthen up your stronghold. So great addition to the game, the idea of focusing on your haven. Now, the book itself, it is another hardcover, and Free League does a great job with their hardcovers. I always really like them. They tend to go with two very different styles of book, and I'm not always sure exactly what lends them to the different styles, other than they seem to focus a lot on sci-fi games as well as in fantasy games. And I think it is mostly their sci-fi games that seem to come in these very glossy, heavy style books. So for them, that's the Alien role-playing game or the Blade Runner role-playing game. Those both come in a heavier, glossier style. The pages themselves are heavier, and those books, I mean, they get up to about 300 pages or so, and all of a sudden it feels a little hard for me personally to hold it, to utilize it in the actual playing of the game. As opposed to their fantasy games, Vessin, The One Ring, those games tend to have a kind of a softer cover. I mean, it's still a hard cover, but there's a cottony feel to the cover itself as well as the pages, and that tends to then create a lighter weight book, which is my preference. I like having a book that doesn't feel like it's going to drag me to the ground when I'm holding it and reading it. So the Vessin style books are more my style of book. This one is weird in that it is fantasy, less sci-fi. It's the horror genre, but it seems to almost be a middle ground, its own thing. It doesn't feel quite as heavy and or glossy as the Alien role-playing games. It's definitely not the cotton feel that you get from those other books. And it is I think it's the smallest Free League Publishing book I've ever seen, clocking in somewhere around 150 pages. So For the physical book, they have for the game itself, they have really kind of, I feel like, pared down the rules. They have made a lighter weight role-playing game, trying to focus more on the role-playing aspect of the game and less on the mechanics of the game. It's all still there. The mechanics are there to play the game, but because they have created a more streamlined rules light system, then they've given themselves a much smaller book. And by being a smaller book, I think they've kind of chosen to go a slightly different route when it comes to the pages, the materials that are making the physical product itself, which is great. It's a different style. And I also have a book that doesn't want to drag me to the ground. It's a lighter weight book, so I'm excited by that. The art style in the book is very similar to some of their other games. The One Ring, where you get a little bit more of this splotchy art, where it's not always looking like a quite finished product. Some people like that, some people really don't. You will see characters in here, art for characters from the graphic novels and the show. They all are looking like the characters from the show. If you're interested in knowing that, if you see Gabriel from the show show up in this, he looks like that actor. He does not look like the Gabriel from the graphic novels. So if you're interested in knowing that, it's focusing more on the show version rather than the graphic novel, and you will get that as well because AMC's logo is right here on the book, and that's the channel where the show lives. So I'm very pleased with the physical product. It feels nice and lightweight. It's going to hold up to a lot of use like all of their other books do. Their starter set, I did do a video of the starter set as well. It's one of their probably lighter weight starter sets, and I mean that in there's fewer items in it. Free League is known for giving you jam-packed, full to the gills starter sets. This one seems to be a little lighter. If you want to take a look at that, I did an unboxing and a review of that as well previously. You can check that video out as well. So all that to be said, I always love Free League's products. They do a great job of kind of morphing their D6 systems for each setting. They always try to put something into the core mechanics that really sells the game itself, the genre, the feel of it. And this one, again, I feel like it's that Haven system where you're really focusing on building up the place that you are calling home so that you can try to protect it, but also it is eventually going to probably fall apart to the ravages of time and zombies. Yeah, I think that's my big selling point for this game. If you already enjoy the show or the graphic novels and you like role-playing games, you don't have to be sold on it too much. If you're somebody who doesn't know anything about that, but you like zombies and you want to give this zombie game a try, I think that is going to sell it for you as well as death is very likely in this game. So if you like a game where you're going to be stressed out and there's the likelihood of death, and I think there's a freeing aspect to that, knowing that death is kind of inevitable for your character. It frees you up to really dive into the role playing and I think less of the mechanics, because as you try to keep your character alive, you're trying to min-max all of your stats so that your character can just be heroic. And this is not a game about heroes. This is a game about survival and horror. And so when you play a game that has that and you know it, then I feel like it opens the player up to a bit more of the role-playing aspect, because they're not as afraid of death because you know it's meant to happen eventually. So yeah, those are my thoughts on a little bit about the game itself and as well as the physical product that is here. Free League always does a great job. They knock it out of the park every time with their products. I'm very happy with this physical book. I kind of like that it's a smaller game. It's easier to read through and to dive into. So if you're out there and you've never played Free League, but you like zombies and you like horror, or you very specifically like The Walking Dead, this is a no-brainer for you. If you're more into it for the heavy lore, heavy sci-fi stuff, you might want to head on over to the Alien role-playing game, possibly. or if you want to go high fantasy, again, they've got the One Ring in the Lord of the Rings setting. So everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it gave you a little bit of a better understanding of what you would be getting if you purchased this game. That's always my goal for the videos, is to give you a better understanding of what the game is, what the product is like, so that you know whether or not you want to spend the money on it or you want to run it for your players. I hope this helped. If it did, give the video a like and maybe subscribe to our channel. Definitely take the time to check out all of our other videos, as we're constantly putting out videos about either role-playing games or board games. We also do a lot of playthrough of board games on Board Game Arena or Tabletop Simulator, so check those out. You can also go over to tabletopgamingguild.com to learn a little bit more about us. Definitely head over to freeleaguepublishing.com to check out this game and all the other myriad of games that Free League is putting out. Everybody, thank you for watching, and until we talk again, keep on playing games.